Hello, today I would like to show you one error in AWX and I will show you how to solve this problem. The problem is related to projects, and if you're trying to create a project and you want to select a directory, a local directory where you want to store the project, the AWX will not allow you to do that because the pod that is running doesn't have proper directory created, and I will show you how to solve the problem permanently. So first of all, switch to browser and I will log into AWX. Now you will see the article, and this is the article that I already posted on my website, but there is no video. I will put the video after I will record this. And you can read the communicate. There are no available playbook directories in varlib AWX projects. Either that directory is empty or all of the contents are already assigned to other projects. Create a new directory there and make sure the playbook files can be read by the AWX system user, or have AWX directly retrieve your playbooks from source control using the source control type option. And I would like to scroll down through the whole tutorial, because what I did, I just created a fixed version of the Ansible playbook. So previously, if I will click back and I will open Ansible category here, and you will click how to install AWX using Ansible playbook, there is a playbook. Of course, I added also the same thing, the removal and fixed playbook that solves the problem here, but I decided that I will record a separate video about this, and I will create a tutorial about persistent volume and how to fix the problem permanently, and I will show you how to do that. And if you are curious how everything is working, I mean how the whole thing is created, I mean how the whole playbook is working, how the removal playbook is working. So you have here details for PV and PVC defined in Ansible playbook. So here is the crucial thing. So I explained information. Here shows you how exactly the persistent volume and persistent volume claim is working, how they are working together, and then you have information about the structure of the Ansible playbook for AWX installation, also for the AWX removal. So you can read about it, how they are working. And then there is a section about permission and what you need to figure out, and what kind of permission should be set and how it is behaving. And I can show you this really quickly because I don't have time for this, and I would like to make the tutorial really short. So you can read about it, and you can read about UID and Git mapping, ownership display, permission consideration, managing permissions, and then there is an information how does host path volume work. So you can read about permission denied inside pod, security and root access in containers, and you can read about it if you want to. And also, very crucial step, if you are using Linux, so if you are installing actually Kubernetes on a machine, on a host where there is a Linux, so it can be a Red Hat, for example, Red Hat family distro. I'm talking about Fedora, for example, right? So there is a Linux, and if a Linux is working in permissive or enforcing mode, then it is good to read about it and find out how actually Linux is working with Kubernetes host path. And thanks to this, you will understand how everything it behaves, and then you will be able to read more about it and understand how each permissive targeted policies and explicit policy allowances is working, and if it false, so you can read about it, and recommendations, and there is really a lot of information about it, just because Linux is a really complex solution, and so you can read. So you can see a lot of things and interaction with Linux. Yeah, I provided a really lot of information here, and at the end you have something like a summarize. So actually the summarize is good to read if you don't want to read the other things and you want to find out how everything has been deployed and invented and discovered and why I did it. So you can read about the issue, then persistent volume solutions and Ansible playbook modifications, Linux and host path volumes, final Ansible playbook solution and summary. And also you have sources, so you can read about more about AWX operator, operator installation documentation, customized binary and AWX releases and tags. So this is good to read additionally if you want to find out more. So let's go back to the beginning, and now I will log into AWX and I will show you where the problem is located, just because it is quite simple thing and it is a quite good solution, so you will be able to make it work. So what I did, this version of AWX is actually the first version. I'm talking about the first implementation, so I'm talking about this one. So this implementation, the first version of my Ansible playbook, that doesn't contain a fix, a solution, right? So okay, let's go back to AWX. And now, first of all, you need to create an organization, because without the organization you will not be able to create a project. So let's create some kind of, I don't know, maybe home organization, just like that. It can be already various name, doesn't matter actually. Save it. And now we are going to projects. And we will skip this demo project, we don't care about it, and we want to add a new one. So let's call it test one, for example, right? This one. Description, organization, select home, select. And then we want to choose, you can see we have an option to choose Git, Subversion, Red Hat, Inside, Remote, or Hive. Git is for Git, GitLab, GitHub, and Bitbucket, I suppose. So I think that you can just select it and you can, yeah, source control URL, it doesn't care what kind of repository it is. But if you want to store projects manually, you can see exactly this error. And the problem is that you cannot choose a playbook directory. Why? Because this var lib AWX project doesn't exist on a AWX pod, right? Because actually this web panel that you see here is running on a pod inside Kubernetes cluster. In my case, it's a one node and one node cluster, one node master, and it is working on K3s, but it doesn't matter. If you will meet this, it means that this path doesn't exist on the pod. So there is one quick workaround that is not permanent. It's only a kind of temporary solution. So what you can do, you can go to the command line and figure it out how it is working. So first of all, it is good to display pods working in namespace AWX. So kubectl get pods and namespace AWX, right down. As you can see, we have AWX-web-random string pod, right? So we can figure it out. Can we run the command to get into the container that is running on this pod? And well, it is possible, but first of all, you need to understand how and to get into and how it is working. So first of all, of course, this is obvious, kubectl. Then of course the AWX, this is the namespace. And now we want to execute an environment. So first of all, we need to figure out exec and dash help to find out what we can run. And we can run those two options, -i and -t. -i, you can see, pass standard input to the container, and -t, standard input is a TTY. Fine. So exec now IT or TI or IT, doesn't matter, and now deployment, and now AWX and web, because we want to get into the pod that is into the container, actually in the pod. But to get into the container, we are getting into the container that is working on deployment or under the deployment. So -c means container. So get into the container that is working in this deployment AWX web. So of course the name is AWX web, right? And now we will list the content. Before we will get into this machine, we will just run the command. So --, and now you can run the Linux command, ls in this case, and -lh, for example. And what we will do, var lib. That's it. Yes, we can see there is AWX directory inside var lib. But if you will try to find out what is inside AWX, you can see there is no projects directory. This directory doesn't exist. So the quick workaround, temporary workaround, is to get into the bash. So just like that, we can run the bin bash or bin ash or bin zsh or bin csh or bin ksh, doesn't matter. I mean, you need to only figure out what kind of shell is running in the container. Here we go. And to show you the difference, cat etc os release, and you will see that inside the container we have CentOS stream 9 and Control D to exit. And if I will use cat etc os release on my host, you can see I'm running Debian 12. Fine. So let's go back to the bash inside this container. And now cd var, like that, sorry, and -lib on, of course, AWX, and list the content one more time just to show you. Fine. And you can see what is interesting. Root user, so UID 0, and root group, so this is also git 0. So they are owned by root. And now the magic happens. See this, ID AWX, so we will display in which group AWX user is and what UID is assigned. UID is assigned 1000. So 1000 is a first UID for a standard user. I'm talking about just really standard users like John or Tom or Ben or Rob or someone else. Not the account that is a kind of system account that comes from some kind of service. No, I'm talking about really standard users and that are working in Linux. And then we have git root and right. What? Yes. It is done the way that it has a root permission on a group level. I mean, each directory that is owned by group root, so in this case git 0, is accessible with permissions read, write, execute for user AWX inside the container. This is the way how it works. And now we will try to figure it out, and we will create a directory, so mkdir projects, and we will just focus on what's on permission. And what happens? Well, because we executed the command mkdir as a standard user AWX, so it created a project directory with user AWX and group root. And this is accessible via AWX account on this container. So if we will go into the project and we will list the content, there is nothing here, so we can mkdir and then test1, for example. And then we can try to make it test2, or we can make it test2.3, something like that. We will list the content. Here we go, and we have permissions, right? Read, write, execute for user, read, execute for group, and read, execute for others. Nice. So now you will ask me, can I type sudo mkdir test4, for example? You can, but if you know the password for the AWX user inside the container, I have no idea what kind of password it is. So maybe the creator of the container will be able to answer and provide a password for this user, but for security reason, we have no idea how it is working. And what is interesting, we can try passw AWX, and you can see command not found. So there is no special permission for passw command possibility. And by the way, you cannot change your own password for security reason, and I described it in my tutorial. So that's how it works. But we can try to chown. Let's do this, and root, we can try to make it work. And of course, test1. Operation not permitted. Also security reason and security problem. So if you are trying to use a workaround, you have a problem with permission. And the permanent solution that I'm going to provide you, and I will show you this in a moment, solves this problem also. Okay, bye. So list it one more time, and you can see, and print working directory. Fine. Let's go back to the browser and we will try to make it work here. But before you will proceed, what you need to do, you need to refresh this website, because you need to refresh, and thanks to this it will be able to reread the information from the pod, from the container. Okay, now we can create a new project. So we will create a test1, and here we go, description, organization, home, select, manual, and now here we go. We have test2, test1, test3. Okay, so we can choose test1, save, and here we go. And we can go back to projects and we can create another one. So we will create a test2, and Control C, and home. You can type it here and it will choose automatically, manual, and then you can choose test2. But we can try to select test1, and you know what? It will not work, just because AWX will not allow you to select the directory that is currently in use by the other project. So if another project is using a directory, you will not assign it to a different project. Okay, fine. So let's choose a test2 and save. Yeah, back to project, and we will do the same for test3, just like that, for practicing contact. This one, home, and manual, and test3, save, and you can see all of 3 back to project are visible here. So there is no problem. Test1, test2, test3. So you can create a directory, and inside this directory you can put Ansible playbook, you can put a script, you can put everything what you need, and you want to automate it through this AWX. The best option is of course to use Ansible playbook, because it is saying that it is a directory for Ansible playbook. So, and the problem is related to this, and if you will go here and if we will reread once again, you can see there are no available playbook directories. So it is looking for playbooks and it is looking for directories actually. So that's it. Let's go back here. And now you will ask me why this solution is not permanent. Because if you will get rid of the pod, I mean if you will terminate the pod, you will lose this configuration. And I'm going to show you. So let's go back to command line, and now we will get rid of this and we will see that in fact it is gone. So kubectl dash n AWX namespace, delete pods like that, and now AWX web, something like that. And we are going to remove this pod, only this one. Okay, we are waiting because it is terminating in the background. And what? In the background also the deployment will create a new one. And this one is CWLWX. And now we will see what is going on. So kubectl and namespace AWX, get pods and AWX web. And you can see different string. Here we go. And you can see it's up and running really quickly. So now what we can do, we can try to display this. Yes, there is no project directory inside this pod. You see, so that's the problem. And the temporary solution is not a good solution and not a good idea. Eventually, if you are testing something and you are creating a temporary thing, well, yeah, but in this case, AWX, this is not something for temporary solutions, right? But you want to have an environment and working tool that is working permanently and it's a solid work. Okay, so how to make it work and how to make it permanent? Well, now you need to run the playbook. So I will not tell you about the playbook because it's already explained in my tutorial, so you can read about it. But what I'm going to do, I will run the playbook on working environment, and what it will do, it will override some settings in the deployment, and it will create persistent volume and persistent volume claim, and then this we will see the solution. So I already have a AWX fixed version, so I will just go into this for a moment to show you that in fact it is. So you can see it is working this way, and here we have PV, PVC, and persistent volume claim, blah blah blah, customization, and here are defined files, PV, PVC, and AWX that are created earlier. So this thing is done this way, and by you are creating files, and then you are deploying all those three with customize and kubectl apply -f-. Okay, control quit, and now what we are going to do, we are trying to deploy it. So Ansible -playbook and AWX fixed version, and that's it. And you can see it is running nicely. Changed, nice. Changed, okay. Changed. It shows you what has been done. So you can see persistent volume and persistent volume claim has been created. They have been created and they are here. And now we can check them. So kubectl get, and of course we can use AWX namespace, so n AWX and get PV, and the same thing for PVC. So you can see the persistent volume is created, and the one is for Postgres. So this one, the Postgres, is created during the first deployment. So because the Postgres persistent volume should exist because there is a running database on it. But also you can see that there below there is the AWX-project volume, and this is the name, and you can see there is claim. So claim is for AWX project claim and 2 GB of size, and then you can see persistent volume claim, and you can see AWX project volume. So this name here exists here, so we can see they are bounded. This is information bound, and that's it. AWX project volume is created and it is running. And now we have something very interesting, because I will focus only on one thing inside this Ansible playbook. So vim AWX dash and fixed fashion. And in the beginning you have something like namespace, but also you have a project directory. So I made it this way that you have project directory set as a variable. So you can set a different path, and this path is a path that is working on host level, not inside the container on pod, but on host where the Kubernetes is installed. So in my case, what I did, I just was thinking about it. Okay, if there is a varlib AWX project on the AWX pod, so let's keep this convention and create exactly the same directory on host, just to have the same path. Okay, fine. So I will quit it. cd var lib, place it, and there is AWX because I already created. By default, this directory doesn't exist, so you have to create at least AWX directory, and if you will create it, automatically inside this AWX directory inside var lib, the directory projects will be created. cd will list it ls like that, and you can see AWX is owned by root user and root group. Read, write, execute, read, execute, read, execute. So owner have all of them, and group read, execute, and others read, execute. cd AWX. Clear the screen, and one more time check this. And what is going on here? RWX, RWX, RX. And yeah, the permission are set by the persistent volume and persistent volume claim. Actually, persistent volume. So cd projects, list the content, and there is AWX1, AWX2, test1, test2, blah 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 blah. So we can get rid of this, and we can cd here, sorry, or we can cd like that, cd like that. So yeah, we can get up 2 levels up. And okay, now rf, and of course with sudo and AWX. We will get rid of this, and now just sudo mkdir and AWX and cd AWX and list the content, and now it is 0. So now what we can do, we can get rid of this pod AWX, so kubectl, name AWX, and then delete, then the pods, and then AWX web pod. We are going to delete this pod just to be sure that a new pod will be recreated, and with an access to the persistent volume and persistent volume claim, and we will also check is the directory project created inside this. So let's check this one more time. And what is going on here? Now you can see the project directory has been created. It had been done here. So RWX, RWX, but this time it's the user is root and the group is Adrian. Fine. Let's check this. ID Adrian, and now you can see my username has uit1000 and git 1000. And now what we can do, we can get into the environment, and we will get into the actually into the container, and we will check something. So we are going here and LSA LH like that, and var lib AWX and projects like that, and also like that. And you can see projects are owned by group 1000. And the problem is that the group 1000 doesn't exist in the system. I mean, yes, on CentOS 9 stream doesn't exist in this container, and how we can make it work properly. So there are two approaches. Control D to exit and list it one more time. And now what we can do, we can reverse change. I mean, we should do this sudo change owner, and it can be recursively, but in this case we don't need it because there is no directory or file inside project directory. And we will revert change. So instead we will set Adrian as a user and root as a group for directory projects like that, and display it once again, and you can see the change is reverted, Adrian and root. Why I did it? Because it is behaving the way that my user has UID 1000, right? And we can grab UID something like, I don't know really, maybe this way. Okay, UID equals, so we can try to make it work this way. We'll see. No, I thought it's able to grab all of this. Okay, UID 1000. And if we will get inside the container and ID AWX, you can see it has also UID 1000. And now if we will display it, you can see when I reverted the change, then the AWX user is an owner and root is a group. And this is the correct approach. This is the one version. And eventually the second version is to change it this way. So you can make it work this way, root and root, and we will see. And now we will display the content and root. But now we will see what will happen if we will go inside the cd var lib AWX project like that, and we will try to create something. And mkdir test something like that, test, and then 1 3, and it is created. Why? And of course you can see the owner is AWX root, but if we will go up, root. Well, because the group root has also permissions read, write, execute. Right, you can see this RWX and RWX for group, and because of that the user AWX is allowed to create files and directories inside project directory. That's enough. So this is the whole explanation about permission, and the rest you can read on the tutorial. Okay, so yeah, it can be owned by user with UID 1000 and GID 0, or by the root, but you're changing permissions only on the host, not inside the container, because you will not be able to do that because you need sudo. Without sudo you will not be able to perform a command. Okay, fine. So yes, you can work with permission on a host level. And cd now projects, and I will create a test4, so mkdir test4, but I will use sudo command to create it as a root. And before I will do this. We can compare now. And you can see test 1, 2, and 3, because they were created by user AWX inside the container. So because the AWX has UID 1000, so it automatically assigns a 1000 and it recognizes, okay, 1000 is assigned to user Adrian on a host, so the owner is Adrian. And when I created root, I created a test4, and we will see what will going on here. And let's go back to the container just for a moment and lib, AWX and projects and test, but I want to get into the test4. But okay, I will get here lslh and root cd test4, and it's empty mkdir test5 permission 9. This is the problem. Permission denied. Why? Because you can see read write execute, but read execute for group roots, and because of that you can see the user isn't able to create anything inside it. This is something that you need to be very, very careful. So always check permission. That's it. Okay, I will get back here and I will do this, and I will show, but with sudo and Adrian root to the test4, and that's it. Here we go. Now everything is fine, or eventually you can use something like sudo hmode, and you can set it to, I don't know, 774 or 6 to test4. We'll check it, and now the RWX, so we will use it 775. It's fine. And now go back to this for a moment to check it, and this lib AWX projects, just to show you how it is working. RWX. So when you change permission, not only owner but also permission on a host level, it automatically changed permission and owner inside the container. Okay, that's it. So now you can put everything into this, and now we will go back to browser. We will go back to AWX and we will see, can we work with project. So click here and we will get rid of those 3, just like that. Get rid of them and add a new, and the one, go home, manual, and we can choose test1. Save, but you will ask me why doesn't see the test4, because you didn't refresh. So if you will refresh, it will see. So back to project and go to add a new one, and let's create a test4. We go home and manual, and now you will see test4. That's it. This is a permanent solution, and even if you will get rid of the pod, it will recreate the directory. But what is very crucial, the problem is that you need to care about one simple thing. You need to make a backup of this directory here on a host to not lose any change. And eventually, if you will, you can also monitor changes in this directory. There are tools like AIDA, for example, or something else, doesn't matter. You can monitor change, and you can use Zabbix, Grafana, tools for monitoring. There are plenty of them, and there is a nice tool, this AIDA that I mentioned, that is monitoring the way that you create a image of the entire system, for example, and so before the change, and after that it is make a comparison. So if anything changed in the directory, it will automatically inform you that it has been changed, and the base image was this one, and now it is different because, for example, files are gone or something like that, and there is no directory here, and the directory project is empty. So if you have a backup, you can immediately revert back changes into this. But this is for another tutorial, how to monitor it and how to make sure that directories exist here. And of course, you can do the deployment. You can recreate everything the way that you want. So you can create a, I don't know, a structure of files and directories here, and then make sure that they are permanent. They will not be able to delete this, for example. So you can make sure that files will not be deleted after the whole deployment will be removed. So now we have files here, we have directories here, so we can make sure that we can see will it get rid of these files from here. So let's go back to the like that, and then kubectl awx delete and now you can see the pod is going to be deleted. So now the pod is deleted, and we will check if the pod recreated. So first of all, kubectl dash namespace awx and pod get pods, and just like that, and it is with a different string. Okay, fine. And now go to awx, and here we go into the projects. Here we go, all those directories are there. So you are sure now that as long as the persistent volume and persistent volume claim is not removed, you can play safely with pods. So you can get rid of pods and it will be recreated, and as long as the persistent volume is existing, then you can work with the deployment. Of course, if you're not touching the persistent volume and persistent volume claim, the files will be there, and that's it. But always remember, make a backup just for, I don't know, security reason, or just to sleep calm, and then you don't have to worry that something went wrong and someone deleted the persistent volume and persistent volume claim and your files are gone, or deleted files from the directory. So you have monitoring, you have backup, and you know what's going on, and you can quickly revert back changes. I mean, you can restore files and directories. That's it. Simple as that. I hope I explained it well. So thank you very much. Have a nice day or night. Take care. Bye bye.